true story about a guy named Jim and his friend Rusty. Jim sat uncomfortable, listening to Rusty as he poured out his heart to him about all of his problems. Jim felt like a hypocrite because he just couldn't bring himself to tell Rusty about Jesus. I mean, what's he going to think about me, Jim thought. So, Jim didn't say a word. He left the restaurant that night without sharing with Rusty that which could have made all the difference in the world. You see, Jim is like most people. We hide the things that make us ashamed, even if it's the gospel. And so the gospel becomes our best kept secret. But should the gospel be our best kept secret? Well, the Apostle Paul said in Romans 1:16 that I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it's the power of God for the salvation of everyone who believes. Paul knew three things about the gospel that every believer should know. Number one, Paul knew that the gospel really is good news and is something worth sharing. Not just with anyone, but with everyone. It's like if you get a free Corvette. Would you be ashamed? Or would you go and tell others? Well, how much better is the free gift of eternal life? And with whom should it be shared? Well, the world needs to know that in John 3:16, God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever would believe in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. Secondly, Paul knew that the gospel is the power of God that brings deliverance. In fact, the word power in the original Greek is the word dunamis, which is where we get our word dynamite. So get this. The dynamite of the gospel is the very vehicle used by God to blast us into our freedom. And in a world where people are struggling from addictions, oppressions, depression, and afflictions, we need the deliverance that only the word of God can bring.
Amen.
Lastly, to be ashamed of the gospel is to replace Jesus with someone else. It's to put Jesus on the back burner while placing someone else on the front. But Jesus said in Matthew 10:32, whoever acknowledges me before men, I will also acknowledge him before my Father in heaven. But whoever disowns me before men, I will disown him before my Father in heaven. So who do you live for? Do you live to please the Rusties of the world? Or do you live to save them? You see, that night, Rusty left the restaurant with the same bondages that he had before he met Jim. And Jim left with his best kept secret, all to himself. But it was that night that Jim's friend Rusty was involved in a head-on collision that ended his life. And while that's a tragic story, the truth of the matter is that every one of us will die. But the real question is how many Rusties will die? And who is your Rusty? Do you love Jesus enough to tell Rusty about him? Are you ashamed? As for me, I am like the young Rwandan man who refused to deny Christ, and on the night before his execution wrote these words. The die has been cast. I have stepped over the line. The decision has been made. I am a disciple of his. I won't look back, let up, slow down, back away, or be still. I cannot be bought, compromised, detoured, lured away, turned back, deluded, or delayed. I won't give up, shut up, let up, until I've stayed up, prayed up, preached up for the cause of Christ. I am a disciple of Jesus.
Yeah.
I must get till I drop, preach till all know, and work till he stops. And when he does come for his own, he'll have no problems recognizing me, for I am unashamed.